first you're going to go through your verse and circle anything that you need to explain. Then I want you to find the words you want to emphasize. So, for example, lying lips are an abomination unto the Lord. If you want it to be in bold, like loud, or that's where they yell, or that's, something like that, I want you to write those words in all caps. So you'll cross it off and write it in all caps above. Don't worry, you'll be writing it again somewhere else, so it's okay if this one's all messy. This is like your rough draft. So because we missed it earlier, to help your verses be memorable, you can emphasize something. Lying lips are an abomination. You can do rhythm. He who despises his neighbor sins. You can do motions, da, 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 or music. Okay, now, for anything you want to do rhythm or a clap to, for example, if you're like, motions don't work in this, like there's this one little thing that there's not really any good motions to go with it. Maybe you want to do claps, maybe you want to do rhythm. So if there's anything like that, I want you to underline them. Chunk, 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 chunk. You might not have that in your verse because you're like, everything's good with motions. Then put a slash where you want to do a motion. So what that means is right before the word that you have a motion for, put a little slash. It can be a straight up slash or a side slash, just something that tells you when you get to that, oh yeah, I need to have that motion ready. So that when you say that word, you do that thing. The eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. So the eyes of the Lord, so that's an emphasis, run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong. That's another emphasis, on the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Okay. So now you have a rough draft of your verse. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the blank page that you were given, and I want you to rewrite your verse nice and big. You can do it portrait version or landscape version, depending on your words. Write it correctly with all your emphasis and whatever's marked. Nice and big so that you can put it on your dresser or something and see it from a distance while you're practicing. Okay, and since the video didn't do it for me, the first handout, the first side, is giving yourself personal feedback when you watch a video. And then when you are getting ready to teach a Bible verse, remember to check your context. Don't teach things out of context because the meaning might be incorrect. So check your context, make sure it's correct. Don't assume prior knowledge. Some of the kids in your class might not know anything about the Bible, so don't just jump in if there's things that you need to explain first. Don't teach what you don't know, of course, and show reverence for the Word of God, reverence for the Bible itself, and also reverence for the physical Word of God that's in your hands. Show respect for it. Don't treat it badly. They're going to watch how you treat the Bible. And personally, I kind of feel like how you treat the physical Bible is kind of how you feel about the Word of God. So treat it respectfully. And since they're not done, it's a couple of the resources that I like to use these days if I'm looking for Bible verses for a story or for a topic. I like to go in my search bar and do verses on forgiveness, open Bible, and it'll pull up openbible.info, and it gives me all kinds of verses on that topic. And then I pick the ones that I think might work, and then I go over to BibleGateway.com, and I look it up. You can find your version on the right side and look it up. And underneath the verse, there's the thing that says context. If you click it, it'll actually give the verses before and above, so that you can see and make sure it's correct. Okay. Let me see your verses.
No, I accidentally skipped the whole thing. I'll have to go redo it.
Okay, that's fine.
On that page.
Good.
Yeah.
I see circles. I see marks. That's helpful. What you want is for it to be big enough so that if you're using this while you're practicing, by the time you're teaching it in class, it'd be a good idea if you had it totally memorized and you're ready, you practiced it, so it's normal to you. If somebody says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life, my brain immediately. Yeah. So, guard your heart with all diligence. That wasn't a good one for motions. But my brain immediately has tones, it has motions, but that's because we did it so many times, it's stuck. You want to do it so many times as you prep that it's stuck in there, and you're ready to do it with confidence with your kids. But while you're practicing, of course, you don't have that, and so you want that has emphasis marked, that has where your motions go while you're practicing to help you practice. and then you can stick it at a distance, and you'll still be able to see it while you're here, maybe like right in front of a mirror. And so while you're practicing, for one, you're figuring out your motions, and you're like, oh, that motion doesn't actually work. It's too vague. So we're like, we're doing little fingers here for walking. I'm like, what? That's not good. People don't walk that way. So, then you're like, oh, this is much better. And making sure it's big enough that the kids in the back can see it. It's not some little thing. So the world, which that's okay, but this is better because, kids are moving more. It's not just all here. So when you're doing it in front of the mirror, you can check your motions, you can check your spots, and you're like, da-da-da-da-da, you're like, oh, that's too many motions, The eyes of the Lord are to and from throughout the whole world, They can't memorize that. Besides, it doesn't make any sense. So, okay, so now you have your verses. What you're going to do for this week, your homework. Watch the video I'm going to send you. So I found a good one of a girl. She's giving some ideas on creative ways to teach verses. So I taught you some. You can still do it with all the same things you do like a song. So you could just do line by line, chunk by chunk, teach the motions. That would work just fine. Or if you want to do it in a different way, it has some other ideas, kind of like the fill in the blank ideas. So for example, you teach a verse and now you need to review it and you want to do it creatively. So you can do the fill in the blank. You can't do this as much with a song, but you can do it with a verse. So for example, say we had learned John 3:16 last week. And say, okay, we're going to review it. Well, reviewing, there might be new kids. There might be kids who don't remember. So I need to say most of it instead of being like, you guys quote the verse. Good job. Okay, nobody knows it. Oh, man. So I can say, you're going to fill in the blank. So when I point to you, you fill in the word that I'm not saying. So here we go. For God so loved the
World.
that he gave his only begotten
Son.
that whosoever believeth in
Him.
should not
Perish.
but have
Everlasting.
life. Good job. Now see, you notice how I only did a little one here and there, the big ones that you're probably likely to remember. But then I'm going to do more chunk by chunk. So, for God so
Loved the world.
Oh, do the whole phrase this time. Here we go. For God so
Loved the world.
good that he gave his
Only begotten Son.
good that whosoever
Believeth in him.
should not
Perish.
but have
Everlasting life.
good. And then maybe we'll keep going until they're quoting the whole entire thing. And I'm only doing a word or so. So that's one of the methods that she teaches. She actually teaches writing on the board. You're not going to be allowed to write on the wall. That's not good. This is a really great verse, and you have good handwriting. But if you wanted to bring a poster or something and you had little things to cover over words or something like that. So basically, if you, as creative as you want to get or as simple as you want to be, you're going to watch the video, pick a way to teach the verse or review the verse, assuming we already know it, which is okay. You're going to have about 5 minutes total. So choose what you want to do, teach or review or both, depending on how long your verse is. The longer it is, the longer it takes to learn. So I would recommend if your verse is long, pick a chunk of it, or one of them, or part of it that's easy enough. So prep it. You're going to teach it next week, and I will be marking feedback for you next week. And some of it will be things like this. See if I can find your filler word, your filler gesture, things like that. That like, okay, next time I want you to see if you can lose this one. Okay, last thing before I leave. I need to not have this one on video. Bye!